So, taking a look at pH indicators. I've got here this chemical substance. This is called a rainbow acid indicator. It's a universal indicator, but it's only good for pHs 1 through 7. It won't really tell you if something is more basic or not. It comes with this little color chart. And what this means is if I put this indicator into a liquid or on a substance and it turns to one of these colors, it's because it's close to that pH. So let's put on our goggles and play around with some acid. I've got here concentrated hydrochloric acid. So what pH would we expect this to be at? Well, it's probably going to be close to 1, considering it's concentrated and hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So let's just drop this in, and then we can move it around just a little bit. Kind of get it to start mixing up. We can see starting to change color. It doesn't mix very well in the graduated cylinders, but what we can do is we can put it into some water. So here we can see that it's pretty red, so that would be a pH of 1. So let's try putting that into some water. Let's just try diluting it. So I pour it in. So even diluting it, this is only 5 milliliters, this is about 20 milliliters. So diluting it by 5, really, it didn't raise the pH that much. So let's try again. Let's try a little more. So here, this is 100 milliliters. So in total, we're going to have 125. So we pour this in, and we see our color is a little lighter. It's a little lighter. Now we've got a bigger volume of water, so let's put a little bit more of the indicator in just to make sure we've got enough to really see the results. It's still pretty red here, but we are starting to shift. We can see that. We can see that it's starting to shift more to a little bit lighter, a little bit more of an orange range. But if we go ahead and add this, so I started with 5 milliliters, so now I'm going up to 500 milliliters will be my total here. So I've diluted it by 100 times. Well, now I can see it's a nice yellow. So that should make sense because the pH, remember, is a logarithmic scale. So if I dilute it by 100 times, I should go up 2 on my pH. So I've got yellow. Let's try going in the other direction. So going the other way, what I've got set up here is my magnetic stir. So if I turn this on and turn up the crank, it'll get some stirring action going so that our indicator will mix nicely as we add acid. So I've just got some water to start things off. That's a bit much. We don't need to... not trying to start a fire here. Okay, so we're just going to add some of our indicator to this. And remember, this is water. What's the pH of water? It should be neutral. There's plenty of indicator, and that should be... So we can see we've got a nice dark color here. So that's a very vibrant color. What color should that be? Well, if we look back at our universal indicator here, our 7 should be that nice deep blue. And that's the exact color that we're seeing here. So let's put on our goggles and let's add a little bit of acid. Okay, before we started at a pH of 1 and we went up to 3, we had to dilute it by 100 times to get that big change. So let's see how much of this, I've just got a single dropper, I'm not going to need more than that. How much of this acid will I need to add to get this down to a pH of 3? We're at a pH of 7 right now. Let's just do 1 drop. We see any color change? Let's look at that chart again. It's going to be kind of hard to tell the difference between a 7 and a 6. They were very close blue. A little bit more. We should be starting to see, you can almost see, is that starting to turn green? You should almost be able to see that. Now we can kind of see, yeah, it's at about a pH of 6 now. It's just gone down a little bit. I had 2 more drops and we can see, oh wow. That is starting to turn that kind of darker and then paler green. So we're probably between a 4 and a 5 now, right? 4 drops and we went down from a 7 to about 4.5. 5 drops, Now we're probably sitting between 3 and 4 here. That did not take much. That really did not take much. Let's add just a little bit more. There's one more drop, and we are very clearly in the 3 range right now. We're very clearly around a pH of 3. I go a few more. I can see it's starting to turn orange, very bright orange. So this is very clearly a sign of a chemical change. I keep adding it. Now I'm probably at about a 2. Going down to a 1. So you see, it really does not take much acid to really bring our pH down. And a lot of chemicals are very sensitive to pH. Okay, I'm going to turn this off and take off these godforsaken goggles now. So, a lot of chemicals are very sensitive to that pH change. These indicators work by being one of those substances. So if I take this indicator, if I were to look at the actual chemical substance, I would see that it changes based on how many hydronium ions it's interacting with. So the actual physical chemical of this rainbow indicator will change, which results in it having a different color in solution.